Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between the rocks and the evil forest, lived a young woman called Adetutu. Adetutu is a kind and gentle woman, unlike her father, Adenifuja. When Adenifuja was young, he was wild and adventurous. During his youthful age, he once climbed the rock, crossed the ocean, and traveled into the wilderness, something no one in the village dared to do. And to the utmost surprise of the villagers, Adenifuja was said to have killed a tiger with his bare hands, brought it into the village, and used the tiger's skin to make a throne for his father, the king. The villagers couldn't stop talking about his ferocious and bravery act, but he outdid himself when he traveled into the evil forest. Apart from the fact that the villagers' jaw dropped as no one dares enter into the evil forest because of stories that strange and mysterious beings inhabit the forest, and those who ventured into the forest never live to tell the tales. So, when Adenifuja went with his only trusted servant, Akombi, the villagers lit their torch, praying for the safe return of Prince Adenifuja. And when he finally returned back to the village, Akombi was not with him, but he came back with a very beautiful woman. She was so pretty that the villagers wondered if she is a goddess or the spirit being who lived inside the Iroko tree. But the villagers' guesses were almost close to the truth, as the woman that Adenifuja brought into the village was a shape-shifter. When Adenifuja and Akombi had saw her taking a bath in the river located in the evil forest, Adenifuja immediately sensed that she is no ordinary person, because how can a woman be in the evil forest? So Adenifuja had packed her clothes, the clothes which look more like an animal skin. She had begged him, but he refused to give her back her clothes. In return, he made clothes for her. "You must marry me," Adenifuja said to the woman. "I desire to have you as my wife." Akombi tried to talk sense into his master. Rather, Adenifuja made Akombi swear never to disclose the identity of the woman to anyone. After Akombi swore never to reveal her identity, Akombi became restless, for he knew the secret is too big to keep to himself, and he did not wish to betray his master's confidence in him. So that night, as Adenifuja went into his hut with the woman, Akombi said to himself, some secrets are worth taking to the grave. So he hung himself. Adenifuja mourned the death of his only trusted servant Akombi. He stayed in the hut located in the forest for months, and when Arewa, that is the name he had given to his wife, when her tummy began to protrude, he knew it's time to introduce her to his father, his younger brother Adebowa, and to the entire villagers. But Adenifuja and Arewa had an agreement right from the onset that after she bore him a female child, a replica of herself, she will return back to the forest. When Arewa gave birth to a female child, Adenifuja held the child in his arm and named her Adetutu. His emotions were both mixture of joy and sadness, but since he is a man of his words, he went to where he kept the animal skin and returned it back to her. So he let her go. In return, Arewa was so grateful to him for fulfilling his promise. So she blessed him with power, power to cure the villagers of any sickness or disease. As time passed, the villagers would bring their sick children and elderly ones to Adenifuja, and he would cure them. This made the villagers to love and praise him more. But for Adenifuja, he became unstable as he started venturing more into the evil forest in search of Arewa, or in search of a way or means to find Arewa. He could leave the village for several months, abandoning Adetutu and the sick people waiting to see him. The more Adenifuja ventured into the forest, the more he started understanding strange beings and dangerous creatures. Some he will wrestle with them, and in return get more powers from the spirit being. So Adenifuja was not just the prince who can cure all sickness, but he is now a powerful priest. Despite Adenifuja's instability and unavailability, the villagers loved him so much. But the king was worried because the king saw that Adenifuja's commitment is not in totality to the village and the villagers, as he could vanish one day and not return again. So this made the king give the throne to his younger brother, Adebowa. The villagers protested and said, "We no go gree. We want Adenifuja to be our king." But kingship was the last thing on Adenifuja's mind as he went into the forest on this fateful day. Adenifuja heard from another cunning priest that if you could collect the mat from the creature living in the Iroko tree, that mat will grant you powers, unimaginable powers. Finally, Adenifuja said to himself, "When I have this mat, I will summon Arewa and we shall live together." Years passed and Adenifuja did not return because the task was not an easy one. Adetutu has grew into a beautiful woman. She lived with King Adebowa, who took her in after no one could say where her father had vanished into. But one fateful evening, as Adetutu plays with the other princesses, there was cry of joy and shouts of celebration as many villagers chanted the praise of Adenifuja. As the villagers saw the mat in the arm of Adenifuja, they hailed him. Now, Adenifuja is a god. There is nothing impossible for him. He is now the most powerful man on earth. So the villagers rushed after him with their sick people. But Adenifuja ignored them. He has been in the forest for many years just to fulfill one mission: to steal the mat from the creature, bring the mat home, sit on it, and summon his wife Arewa. That is the only thing that mattered to him. But as he sat on the mat, thunder struck in the sky, and immediately he became blind and crippled. That night, the villagers carried their torch round the village, saying, "King Adebowa has afflicted his elder brother because King Adebowa is jealous of Prince Adenifuja's success and accomplishment." King Adebowa became restless, just as Adetutu too couldn't sleep. She knew that King Adebowa would never harm her father, so she went to the king. "Kabiesi," she greeted, "please save my father. Only you can do it. Please do all in your power and reach to save my father." So King Adebowa invited a great chief priest from a faraway village. Many feared for King Adebowa because they knew that the great chief priest only honored an invitation after one must have paid a very costly price. That's why many do not patronize the great chief priest. What costly price has the king paid? The villagers whispered. So the chief priest said, Prince Adenifuja has offended the gods with his insatiable quest. That's why the gods have cast a dark bondage on him. If he can't see and can't walk again, he will stop his quest. What is the way out? Asked the king. Adetutu must travel into the evil forest, said the great chief priest. She must cry day and night until her mother appear unto her. Since no mother can ignore the cry of a child, Arewa will definitely appear unto her, and Arewa will tell Adetutu the solution to Prince Adenifuja's affliction. The night Adetutu is to journey into the forest, the villagers gather round, praying for Adetutu, while some murmured, will Adetutu succeed in saving her father? Adetutu is so calm. Unlike her father, will she go and return? Adetutu! The villagers cried. But the moment Adetutu entered into the forest and started crying, Arewa appeared unto her. My daughter, go no further, so that harm will not come on you. Tell your father to stop looking for what is not lost, because this is where I belong. In order to cure him, get him up from the mat which he lay in, and tell him never to use the mat again. Farewell, my daughter. So they carried Adenifuja away from the mat. Instantly, his sight restored, and he could walk again. And when he heard the role King Adebowa played, he went to the king. The great chief priest doesn't come without a costly price, said Adenifuja. What did you lay down? A life for a life, replied King Adebowa. No, never. Adenifuja was annoyed. But the king said, I shall die in 3 days. King Adebowa said to Adenifuja. Adenifuja got up angrily and traveled to see the great chief priest. What can I give in exchange of King Adebowa's life? Asked Adenifuja. The great chief priest smiled. I want the mat. Give me the mat, said the chief priest. When Adenifuja got home, he sat, thinking deeply. Then finally he said to himself, why am I searching for what is not lost? With that, he gave the chief priest not only the mat, but all his powers, including the one bestowed upon him by Arewa. Adenifuja became free and happy, and most times he would gather the children in the village and tell them scary tales about the evil forest. Even though he has no power, the villagers still loved him and they all lived happily. The end.